Hey, you playa, how many times have you tried to text someone that you like only to get no response from them, to be left unread, or to just be flat out ignored? Well, that all ends today. I want to share with you 5 text messages that you could start using that's guaranteed to get a response from the person that you like. And it all comes down to one simple thing. Leave them on a cliffhanger. See what I did there? There are psychological tactics that you could start using in your text conversations that most people tend to fall for. Cliffhangers are definitely one of them because you're not giving that person the full story. You're leaving just enough space for them to ask a question so that they can understand what's actually going on. Now, not all cliffhangers are exactly the same. Depending on how close you are with that person and where you guys are in the conversation, it's going to help you determine which one is the perfect one for you to use. The first go-to cliffhanger that you could use is the element of surprise. This means sending them a message like, "Oh my God, you won't believe what just happened." When they read that in their inbox, they're going to be excited and curious about what you have to say next. So that's the hook that's going to bring them in. You've seen clickbaity headlines before, you know that they work. So the whole point here is to get their reply back from them. Now, it's on you to have a good and interesting answer to follow up with. So that's something you may want to think about before you use this tactic. The second technique is a little trickier because it really depends on how their phone displays notifications, but I call this one the unsent message. All you have to do is to send them a text message, a voice memo, a picture, and then unsend it. And then immediately after say something like, "Oh my God, you weren't supposed to see that." When they check their notifications and see that second message, they're definitely going to click into the conversation to see what was unsent. They may even ask you what was unsent, and that gives you the opportunity to come up with something funny or clever, or to just carry the conversation in a totally different way. Now, what I don't recommend is that you imply that you sent them something sexual by accident, and then you had to go and rush and delete it. Instead, use this as an opportunity to work in a joke, or to flirt with them, or to take it in a different direction. Just don't be creepy about it. The third text is a super simple one to use, and all it requires is a little bit of creativity. It's what I call the A/B test. Now, what you want to do here is to give them 2 options to choose from, option A and option B. It could be 2 different flavors of ice cream, 2 different shows to watch on Netflix, 2 different superheroes to choose from. Basically, put that in front of them, ask them that question, pick one, A or B. Now, when they see that in their inbox, they're going to be inclined to see what the 2 options are. Human curiosity just leads them that way. And even if they give you just a single letter as an answer, you can always follow up with why and dive deeper into their interests to learn more about them. People love to compare things. So when presented with pretty simple options to choose between, they're going to be more inclined to give you an answer because it doesn't require a lot of energy and time on their part. And that's what you're going to capitalize on and take advantage of. Now, the fourth text is a pretty common one, and I've mentioned it in tons of my videos in the past, but today I'm going to add a little twist to it. This is asking for their opinion. Now, you don't just ask them, "Hey, what do you think about this?" You want to add a specific keyword into it that's going to make them feel special, feel like their opinion matters more. Instead, you want to say, "Can I get your expert opinion on this?" Using just that little word expert is going to make all the difference, because instead of them just sharing what their thoughts are on something, they're going to feel like their thoughts actually matter even more because they're knowledgeable in whatever it is that you're bringing to their table. People like to feel good. They want to feel valued and special. And by calling them an expert, you're doing just that. And the fifth text here is going to require the utmost level of creativity, because if you do this right, you're going to look great in the conversation. But if you do it wrong, you're going to look super lame. Now, this is what I call the puzzle. What you want to do here is to share a riddle with them, a picture, a puzzle of some kind for them to solve. Present it in the DM, and then say this specific line to them: "I bet you can't solve this." Now, telling them that you think that they can't solve something is going to make them way more curious to respond and way more curious to actually resolve the issue that you've presented to them. Let's say you copy and paste some reasonably difficult riddle that you find online. Now, the key here is not to find something too difficult, because they're going to read it, not be able to figure it out, and then give up. The conversation ends there, which is what you don't want. You want to find something you think they can actually solve and then challenge their ability to do it. So when they actually do present you with a real answer, you can now compliment them. You can engage in a deeper conversation. You can question whether or not they cheated and turn that into a whole flirting bit that's going to take your conversation to the next level. The unifying theme behind all of these different cliffhangers rests on one simple idea. You're giving that person the choice to explore whatever is on the other side of that conversation. And you're tapping into the fact that they're human, that they're curious, that they want to share their wisdom with someone who's interested in learning about them. You're not sending boring messages like, "What's up? How was your day?" or "Can I ask you a question?" Instead, you're using parameters to create a narrative here. You're giving them just enough rope to know that they should climb up and see what's on the other side of that hill. That's the direction you want to take to make the conversation fun and interesting. Those are the type of texts you need to send if you want to actually get a response from them. And once you have them hooked, engaged, and replying in the conversations, you can now take it in a whole different direction. I would recommend checking out my 20 Icebreaker Conversation Starters Guide, where I share different conversation topics you can use to learn more about that person and to keep that conversation going. Check out the link for that on the screen now, and I'll catch you next time. As always, love and peace.